Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I am very excited because we are going to be filming another seasonal TBR video. I say this every single time I film my summer TBR, but I'm so excited to be filming my summer TBR. Not because I'm that excited for summer, although I do have some good books on my TBR and I am excited about these books specifically, but I am excited because that means the next seasonal TBR video that you will be seeing from me will be my fall TBR. I know, I'm so excited. I know you're excited too. Just 3 short months and we will be filming the fall TBR. But it's fine. We need to get through, these 3 grueling months of summer first, and hopefully these books will help me do so. I'm really excited to talk about these because I have 3 very distinct vibes going on here. I have my summerween TBR, which I want to go over, which is all like, spooky, horror, thrillery kind of books. Then I have some classics because I've been reading some classics recently that I've been enjoying and I've just been having a good time doing that, so I have some more that I want to read in the summer. And then finally I have some fantasy. I don't really think the fantasy books specifically are that good for summer, but like obviously we need some fantasy. So that is what we are going to be talking about today. But first I actually did want to do a little bit of a journaling segment in the summer seasonal TBR video where I show you guys how I'm going to be setting up my summer TBR spread. I did not end up doing a spring TBR spread just because, the spring sucked honestly for me personally. So I just never got around to doing it. So this is going to be my first seasonal TBR spread that I'm making this year, and I want to make it good because I want to base my other seasonal TBR spreads off of this one as well so they can all match like I had them matching last year. So I thought we could go ahead and do that in the beginning of this video, which I cannot wait to get into because thanks to the sponsor of today's video, who is Leanne, I have some fun stickers that I'm going to be using for the spread that I made myself. So last year Leanne sent me their PixCut S1 smart printing and cutting all-in-one machine, which can be used to print and cut sticker sheets as well as just printing normal photos as well. And I love using this thing. As somebody that has been journaling for like 6 or 7 years now at this point and uses a lot of stickers in their journal, I know that, sometimes sticker sheets can get expensive. They can be hard to source. It can be hard to find sticker sheets that you even like that are available and easy for you to acquire. But thanks to the PixCut S1, I can now make my own sticker sheets with my own doodles, with my own drawings, with my own handwriting and fonts and whatnot. And it's super easy to use. They just have an app that you can download that then connects with the printer. And then on the app, you can upload any photos or doodles or images that you want to have it print and cut for you. There's truly just 1 or 2 steps that you need to do because the app will automatically put the cut lines on their sticker sheets and off it goes. It prints, it cuts, all in one step. The print quality is also really nice. I feel like the colors are super vibrant and they're really true to what I see on my phone. Over the last year, I've been making so many sticker sheets and I've been making so many recently that I really would like to show you because I'm very excited about them. I've really been into making like font sticker sheets because I hate making titles in my journal. So being able to just like have a font sticker sheet ready to go is so nice. So I have these Scrabble tiles, which I think I want to use for my summer setup. I think these will be really fun. I made these upper and lowercase sticker sheets out of this font that I have that I really, really love. And I love that I can put as many vowels on these as I want to. So I know I'm not gonna have an odd number of them left. And then I also love printing out like little stars. So I have like these black ones that I printed yesterday ready to go. And I have these multicolor ones, which I'm running out of and I'm gonna print more of very soon. And it is so fun to just think like, oh, I wanna make a sticker sheet. And then like 5 minutes later, you have a sticker sheet. So that's my favorite thing that you can use it for, but you can also use it to print normal photos. I also find that the print quality on those is really nice. And I've been putting a couple up on my wall, which has been very fun. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, I would highly recommend checking out the PixCut. It's a perfect gift for yourself, but it's also perfect for maybe a journaler or scrapbooker or DIYer in your life. So I will leave a link to them and the printer down below. So thank you so much to Leanne for sponsoring this video and supporting my channel. As I said, we are about to jump into some journaling really quickly where I am going to be using some of these sticker sheets. So I will see you guys after we have put together my summer TBR spread. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this read. I'm super happy with how it came out, and as I said, I think I'm going to try to make all of my seasonal TBR spreads look like this because I like a cohesive look, you know? But now that you guys have a little bit of a sneak peek of what is on my summer TBR, let's get into actually talking about the books. So I think I'm gonna leave my summerween TBR towards the end. I also don't have a lot of the summerween books that I'm gonna be reading yet because a lot of them I'm gonna be borrowing from the library, so like, you know, not a lot to show. So let me start out with, you know, like the fantasy and the classics that I said I would like to read this summer. So I'm gonna start out with the classics because I've been in a big classics mood recently and I have many plans and goals for myself this summer. Will I actually do any of them? I don't know, but let's just start talking about them. First of all, I would really like to read Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. This is on my 2026 TBR and I feel like summer's the perfect time to tackle it. I don't know if summer's the perfect time to read it, but like I just have, you know, more time in the summer, so I'm gonna try and read this one because it's kind of big. It's kind of big and it really intimidates me because I don't know if I'm gonna love this one. It's one that I've just heard many like mixed things about, you know, and it's like 460 pages, which is... Every time I think about that, I'm like, whoo. But I would really like to read this because it is the last full-length Jane Austen work that I have yet to read, and I feel like it would be quite the accomplishment for 2026 for me to finish up her completed novels. As for what Mansfield Park is about, I don't really know. I know we're following our main character, Fanny Price, and I think she ends up moving in with some rich relatives, maybe, but I don't know anything else about it. I feel like I don't need to know anything else about it. I feel like I would just like to go into it and experience it and just see what I think of it for myself. So to kind of counterbalance that longer classic that we have, I have a little guy up next, which I definitely feel like I can read this summer, and that is The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. I have many H.G. Wells books that I would like to read, and I don't want to buy any of them until I read this one, so I feel like that's motivation enough. I read The Invisible Man, I think it was in December maybe, and I enjoyed that one. I think I read 13 pages of this one and I was liking this one. So I just need to do it. It's like 100 pages. I could literally read it in one sitting. It would be like nothing. But this one is about a time traveler who I think, yeah, it says when a Victorian scientist propels himself into the year 802,701 AD. He is initially delighted to find that suffering has been replaced by beauty, contentment, and peace. And obviously, you know, there's a little bit more to it, but I really think I'm going to love sci-fi that is written in like this time period, in like the Victorian time period. I love the kind of steampunk aesthetic that they have going on, and I just think it's so interesting to see what people in this time period kind of, you know, thought of the future. And I feel like this book is definitely gonna be a good glimpse into that. And then next up I have a book which is a recent acquisition for me, but I'm really excited about this one, and that is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. Obviously, like, classic dystopian work. I don't know when this book was written, though. When was it written? Obviously, it's, like, more of a modern classic. Okay, 1950... No, that would be the copyright for the lines of an Elvis song. 1985. Yeah, that sounds about right. You know, I actually don't know that much about The Handmaid's Tale. Obviously, I have, like, a general idea just from, like, pop culture in the show. I know we have a bunch of ladies wearing red. And aside from that, I feel like I just don't know that much about it. And I feel like it'll be really interesting to go into it not knowing anything about it. One of my other goals that I had for myself for this year was to read more classic dystopian works, and I literally just read Animal Farm and that was it, and now we're halfway through the year. So I need to get back onto that. So I'd really like to read Handmaid's Tale this year. I'd also maybe like to read 1984 this year as well. But for now, I'm just gonna tackle this and see what I think about it. But you know, Anne Patchett on the back of this book says she's Margaret Atwood and she can do anything, so I'm putting my faith in that review. I think it's gonna be good. So those are the three classics that I would like to aim to tackle this summer. Obviously, you know, hopefully I'll read more than just these three. But these are the three that I really will be disappointed if I don't get to. Now moving on, we can jump into some fantasy, kind of my typical fare for the summer. I don't really know if any of these are like really that great of summer reads, but they're books that I want to read soon, so, and have to read soon. So like, I think it'll be fine. The first one is a part of my big book club called Voluminous Volumes that I run on my Patreon. We are reading Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. It is a thick one, it is a chunky one, and it is, I think, just, is it exactly 1,000 pages? It's 1,006 pages. So one of my other goals for the year is always to read a book that is over 1,000 pages, and this is obviously going to be my pick for the year. I am nervous to go into this one. I just don't know how I'm gonna feel about it. However, I did recently read Piranesi by Susanna Clarke, which I absolutely loved, gave it 5 stars. Stunning. So I have like a little bit more faith that I'm gonna like this one, but I also know like they're very different vibes. So I guess we're gonna see, but this one is about 2 magicians in London during the Napoleonic Wars. Do I know anything else about it? No. But I think it'll be an experience, that's for sure. I will obviously, you know, like vlog and talk about it with you guys as well. I'm scared. I'm just a little bit scared. Next up, again, to counterbalance my very chunky pick, I have a short one, a short fantasy book. And that is The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle. This is, I believe, about, you know, the last unicorn, trying to find out if there are more of its kind. I think it's kind of like a little bit of an adventure story. It is a fantasy classic, I would say. It was written in the 60s. And I feel like it should be a delightful time. I'm also really excited to watch the movie, which a lot of you guys told me you really liked. Some of you told me you didn't even know there was a book based on the movie. Which I also thought was funny, but yeah, I'm gonna read this and hopefully watch the movie as well, and I feel like it'll just be a good time. And it's under 300 pages, like that's so doable. So I'm gonna read The Last Unicorn and hopefully have a great time. And then the last book that I want to put on my TBR is a book that I feel like I should read in August. I don't know why. Something about the book is just, it's giving me August energy. And that is The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. This is a book that I've had on my TBR for like a year or so now, and I keep thinking like, oh, I need to read that in the summer. And I don't know why, but hopefully I'm actually gonna do it this time. I guess we'll see. Do I know much about The Unmaking of June Farrow? No. But I've heard really good things about all of Adrienne Young's books in general, so I've been intrigued and at least wanting to try one. And this says, a woman risks everything to end her family's century-old curse, solve her mother's disappearance, and find love. Is there time travel in this? Am I making that up? I have no idea, honestly. But yes, gonna read The Unmaking of June Farrow probably in August. You'd think maybe I would want to read it in June, but like, I'm just thinking August. Now that that's over, we can jump into the more fun TBR. Not that I'm not excited about these, but like, I'm so excited about my summerween TBR. And the spookiest thing of all right now is that my camera's about to run out of battery, so one moment. So yes, summerween. You guys already know I'm so excited about it. It's like my favorite week out of the year. Truly, I kind of think I like summerween more than like actual fall. Like somehow, I don't know, it's like the anticipation. It's like the kickoff of fall season almost. Which I know sounds insane. Not like actually, but like spiritually, yes, it is the kickoff of fall season for me personally. And I will not be accepting any criticism on that statement. But I feel like my summerween vibe has definitely evolved over the years, and I feel like it's kind of in its final form right now, and it is flourishing, let me tell you. Because I feel like the vibe I used to go for, especially in the books that I would read for summerween, would be good fall reads in the summer. And that was fun and I liked it, but I feel like the better vibe for me personally, obviously you do whatever you want for summerween, but like the better vibe for me personally for summerween is like a summer horror slasher, lake, cabin, woodsy kind of vibe. You know what I mean? Like I want books that take place in the summer, but they have to be like spooky books that take place in the summer. I feel like that is just the ultimate vibe for summerween, and it's kind of what I did with my TBR last year. Loved my TBR last year. I don't know if I can top my TBR from last year, honestly. But I'm trying this year, and I do have some books that I'm very excited about, so let me stop yapping and just get into showing you the books, the many books that I would like to read for summerween. I have like 8 on my list right now. It might be 9. I have 9 on my list. I don't know if I'm gonna read all of them, but I'm gonna read most of them. So let me just talk about them. First up, I have 2 Goosebumps books because I love reading Goosebumps books for summerween. And I do really like to choose Goosebumps books that have like a summery vibe to them, but like they're Goosebumps, so they're gonna be spooky. So I decided to go with 2 this year, just because it sounded really fun. I usually read 1, but I want to read 2 this year. So the first one I have is Welcome to Camp Nightmare. Obviously this one takes place at like a summer camp, which is also perfect vibe for summerween. Like creepy stuff at a summer camp. You could not choose a better vibe for summerween. But it says it's the little camp of horrors. We're following Billy at a summer camp and weird stuff is happening, which truly could not sound better. And I cannot wait for this one. And then the other one I decided to choose was Deep Trouble, which is obviously about this hammerhead shark, which like maybe half human, half fish. And we are following again a character named Billy. I don't know if it's the same character named Billy. I don't know if R.L. Stine just like ran out of names, or maybe Billy just has really bad luck, but we're following Billy and his sister as they're visiting their uncle Dr. Deep on a tiny Caribbean island. And it just sounds great, honestly, like perfect summer vibes. I feel like I should also watch Jaws during summerween. That's like another perfect summerween movie. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. So yeah, these are my 2 Goosebumps books picks And I think they're gonna be stunning. They're gonna be so fun. Oh, and there are prompts for Summerween. If you guys don't know, Gabby Reads hosts a Summerween readathon every single year, which I always participate in, and that's how I found out about Summerween. So like, if you want to see the prompts, you should go watch her video. But I will also like vaguely tell you maybe the prompts. I'm gonna use one of these for reading a book in the dark or at night because it's short, and that'll be super easy. The next book that I have here is something that I'm very intrigued by because I've never read a book by this author before, but I feel like they are a pretty popular horror author, but I don't spend a ton of time reading horror, so I've never really like delved into this author's work before. But I decided I would read My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. I think I chose this one specifically because I'm pretty sure it takes place in July. I think I looked it up and I think takes place in July, so kind of perfect. And I believe we're following a main character who's a really big fan of like 80s horror movies, and I think maybe she gets like a little bit too into 80s horror movies or something like that. I'm pretty sure it's a slasher book. I love a slasher movie, so like I'm really interested to see if I like this. Literally one of the lines on here says, "Isn't a slasher exactly what her hometown deserves?" I'm just so intrigued by this one. And I'm really excited to see what I think about this. I think this is also part of a series, maybe? Are there like 3 books out? I know there's like a red one. Is there another one? I don't know. But if I like this, I could read the other ones, but we'll see what I think of this one. And these are the only books that I have for Summerween that I currently own physically. The rest of these, I think most of these, I'm planning to borrow from the library. But one of these I'm actually just kind of trying to find a cool copy of before Summerween because I do want to own this book because I think I'm gonna like it. And that is The Body by Stephen King. This is another one of Stephen King's novellas. I read The Mist last year, which is another one of his novellas, which I absolutely loved. If you guys want like one good Summerween rec, you should really read The Mist. But this one, I've been trying to find like a little individual copy of it because it is in one of his short story collections, but I don't want to buy the whole short story collection. So I'm trying to find an individual copy of it that I don't think is ugly, and I'm currently not succeeding at that, but we'll see if I pull something up by then. But it's set in 1960 and it's following 4 young boys in Castle Rock, Maine, which is kind of this like fictional town in Maine that Stephen King has come up with that literally every single bad thing possible has happened in. And they go on a journey to find the body of a missing boy. I think this takes place in the summer as well. I know it also has a really great film adaptation. I feel like I should also watch Stand By Me during Summerween after I read the book, obviously. And I cannot wait to read this one. I feel like a lot of people generally really like The Body, and I feel like it's one of the more well-loved Stephen King stories that I have not got around to reading yet. So I really cannot wait to see what I think about this one. And I'm using this one for the prompt that's like to read a book less than 250 pages because it's a novella. The next book that I want to read is one that I've seen around for a while, but I've never looked into the synopsis of. But once I did, I was like, oh, this is perfect for Summerween. And that is Looking Glass Sound by Katieisreadingyt. Just the first little sentence of this blurb, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be good. It says, in a lonely cottage overlooking the windswept Maine coast, Wilder Harlow begins the last book he will ever write. I think this is kind of like a psychological horror about this author who may be starting to lose his mind, or maybe somebody's coming to kill him. I guess we'll find out. But the Maine coast spooky vibes for Summerween, guys, like it really cannot get better. It cannot get better. I've never read a book from Katieisreadingyt before. I've seen her books just in general around for like a long time. So I'm excited to see what I think about this one. I have no idea what people generally thought of this one. I don't know if people liked this or if they thought it was terrible. But for the setting alone, I am excited to give it a try. Then next up, I do like to have a graphic novel for Summerween every single year, but I feel like I'm running out of good Summerween or just like spooky graphic novels in general. I feel like I can't get too picky with the graphic novels that I choose, so I kind of just go for like spooky and general graphic novels. But I don't want something that's like a horror graphic novel. I just want something that's like a little bit creepy. You know what I mean? So I was doing some research and I found this comic, I believe it is, that I'm really interested to give a try. It's called The Me You Love in the Dark, written by Scotty Young and illustrated by Jorge Corona. And it's about this author who's kind of like losing her spark. So she ends up moving into this like secluded haunted house, only to find that her muse is a supernatural entity with a dark possessive nature. I don't know what I'm gonna think about this one, but like it sounds like it could be pretty good. And I would love to see some beautiful illustrations of a spooky, secluded Victorian house. So we're gonna give this one a try. If you guys have read it, let me know what you think of it. I literally never heard of it before until I went on like my graphic novel discovery journey. So we'll see. Then the next one, I was definitely having trouble finding a book for this specific prompt, which is to read a book that has pink on the cover. I have looked at many horror books that have pink on the cover, but none of them were really fulfilling the Summerween, I keep saying the word vibe, but like the vibe that I wanted. for summerween until I came across this one in the bookstore, and then one of my patrons recommended it for like our monthly buddy read, so I looked into it a little bit more, and it's called Root Rot by Saskia Nislo. This obviously has like a bunch of like pinky red tones on the cover, so like I'm definitely thinking this is pink. And it says 9 children travel with their families to their grandfather's vacation properties where strange things begin to happen. Eyes blink from the bottom up, mushrooms ooze blood, people's faces don't hang right anymore, except they do once you look more closely, and transformations warp the children's sense of time and place, the very land itself seeming to encroach upon them. That sounds so good, and it takes place at a lake house, so I'm like, that's good enough for the summerween thing that I'm trying to go for here. I've never seen anybody read this before, so I'm very intrigued to see what I think about it, but it's a little novella, it's pretty short, it's just a little guy, so we're gonna give it a try. And we're gonna see. Again, if you've read this one, let me know what you thought of it. Then next up, I know it just keeps going. I told you guys I have a lot of books on my summerween TBR. I wanted to get a classic for my summerween TBR. I try to read a spooky classic for summerween every year. Do I succeed in doing that? Most of the time, no, but the intentions are there, and that's what matters. So this time I decided I would go for a short story collection because there's a specific story in this collection that I'd really like to read for summerween. And the rest of them can kind of just be like spooky fillers. I don't know, we'll see. So I decided to pick up Dark Tales by Shirley Jackson, which is a collection of her short stories. And there is a story in this which is called The Summer People, which again sounds perfect for summerween. I know, thank you. I don't want to know too much about it, but it's about an elderly couple who decide to stay at their lakeside summer cottage past Labor Day, breaking a local taboo. I've been reading a couple of Shirley Jackson's short stories recently. I have like a little collection that has like The Lottery and a bunch of other stories in it. I've read like 3. And I've really enjoyed all of them. I've also finally read The Lottery, which was harrowing, honestly, in the best possible way. So I was like, you know, I haven't finished this short story collection, but let me buy another short story collection. But I came across The Summer People. I was like, this sounds perfect for summerween. So I decided to pick up the collection that I knew it was in. So I'll read that one, and I'll read some of the others as well, but I wanted to get a classic on there. And then the last one, yes, there is another one, but in my defense, I do have a lot of short books on this TBR, so like I feel like it's kind of doable. But this last one is going to be a little bit of a buddy read. Me and Mackenzie, and I think maybe even Cass said she would want to read this book as well, are going to be reading The Saturday Night Ghost Club by, who is it by? Is his name Craig? It's by some guy, yeah, Craig Davidson. This one, again, sounds like it fits the summerween vibe really well. It says it's a short, irresistible, and bittersweet coming-of-age story in the vein of Stranger Things and Stand By Me, or, you know, like The Body, about a group of misfit kids who spend an unforgettable summer investigating local ghost stories and urban legends. Guys, like, it sounds so good. I'm so excited for summerween. Like, I'm excited about this book, but it's just making me excited for summerween in general. Like, local ghost stories, urban legends, that's the vibe for summerween, too. Ooh. It's gonna be so stunning, honestly. I think summerween's gonna save my year, honestly. Like I just need this. I need it so bad. But this one also sounds really good. I feel like this one I've seen around a lot. I think it was like one of those books at Barnes & Noble where like they'd give it to you for like $3 or something if you bought something. I don't know, they were pushing this book hard. But I never really knew what it was about. Like, obviously the title alone should be intriguing, but I just never looked into it. But then once I did, I was like, this sounds good. And Mackenzie was like, this sounds good. And Cass was like, this sounds good. So all of us are gonna be buddy reading this one, I hope. So that is my summerween TBR, which I know it's very big, but I also like to, you know, go big or go home when it comes to summerween. It is my favorite week of the year. It's my favorite vlog to film every single year. It's my favorite TBR to put together every single year. So I love being able to talk about my TBR with you guys. And I decided to put it in this video because it is a huge part of my summer TBR. So with that being said, we've made it to the end of my summerween TBR. Obviously, I would love to know down below, what are some books on your guys' summer TBR? Or, more excitingly, if you guys are doing summerween, let me know what's on your summerween TBR. I would love to, I don't need any more ideas, but I'd kind of just like to scope out maybe for next year and see what you guys are reading for summerween. But if you're not into summerween, that's fine. Just tell me what you guys are planning on reading this summer. But with that, I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're all having an amazing Monday or whatever day it is that you're watching this video. And I will see you all in my next one. Bye.